Welcome, my friends of the interwebs. This is going to be a reply video to a YouTuber named Johnnyek7078. There'll be a link to his channel underneath this video. Please check him out. He's a pretty cool dude. He did a video called Spyderco Tenacious and Labor Costs, which I found really interesting. I guess I spurred him on to make that video. For those of you who do not know, I'm sure most of you do, I am not a fan of the Chinese slave labor. I'm not a fan of buying Chinese-made products, if at all possible. I'm a realist, though. I mean, I do realize that there are times you're going to have to buy Chinese just because of the way it's went down, and a lot of things were up against the wall. Just you have no choice. But when given a choice between Chinese knives, for example, and knives made outside of China, whether that be European knives or Japanese knives or American-made knives, I always opt for spending the extra few dollars, and really what it comes down to, believe it or not, is just a few dollars. I always opt to buy outside of China. I try my best, absolute best, not to buy a Chinese knife. That's new, by the way. I have bought Chinese knives, but I've come to the realization that they're evil. The country, not the people. I'm sure the people are fine. They're fine human beings, I'm sure, every one of them. Well, not every one of them, but you know what I'm saying. The government's evil. The Chinese government's evil. Anyway, and I know I'm sure there'll be some people that are going to argue that, but whatever. Okay, I want to show you a few knives, and I'm going to talk about labor costs and doing business in China. The first knife here is a knife that's made in the United States. It's made in Golden, Colorado. It's called the Manix 2. The quality of this knife is off the charts. When you first get your hands on a Manix 2, you realize that the knife is just a really, really well-made knife, and you know it was made in a first world country. You just know it was. It's just a phenomenal, phenomenal knife. And then the second knife I want to show you is a Spyderco knife. By the way, all three of these technically are Spydercos. The second one is the Delica 4. And this knife is made in Japan. Seki City, I think, or Seki, Japan. Seki City. It also screams quality. Just a beautiful knife, absolutely gorgeous. Obviously not in the same price range as the Manix 2, but still a fairly expensive knife, but I wouldn't call it real expensive. The third knife is a Chinese knife. It's a Chinese knife. It's a Bird Spyderco, or Spyderco Bird, actually. The Spyderco Bird Metallark. And this knife is basically a Spyderco wannabe, or Spyderco ripoff. It is, this, by the way, Bird is owned by Spyderco. Bird is its own company, but if you go to Spyderco's website, they plaster Bird all over it. This knife was designed by Spyderco. The manufacturing process supposedly is overseen by Spyderco, but it's manufactured in China. And it is what it is. It is a Chinese Spyderco. If Spyderco would have started off their company making knives like this from China, they would not have the reputation that they have today. This is period. That's just the way it is. Although this knife looks good from a distance, it is definitely not without its problems. However, I won this knife on eBay for $10. And I believe shipping cost me $4, so this is a $14 Spyderco. Is what it is, a $14 Spyderco. The blade, it pretends to be a decent steel. Okay, it's what is it, 8CM3MOV or something. It's a very good stainless steel. But now when I say pretend, you're going to ask, well, what do you mean by that? You can't trust the Chinese, that's what I mean. And Spyderco can say whatever they want about how they oversee the manufacturing or the quality control. But the fact of the matter is that the Chinese are they're notorious for going cheap. And what I mean by that is, and you're going to laugh when I say this, but I want you to think about this. How much lead is in this blade? Would you cut an apple and eat a slice of apple with this Chinese blade? I think if you would, you're a fool. Because China will stamp anything on their blade, on anything. They will stamp anything on any of their products. I mean, for God's sake, these are people who had basically put poison into children's formula because they could save a buck. I mean, now listen, the only way you can make a knife and turn a profit and sell it for as little as they're selling this for is to go cheap. I mean, plain and simple. Oh, and real quick, I didn't. Oh, by the way, here's a Chinese knife, and it looks kind of like a Spyderco, but it's not. And this is just it's just a cheap little knife. A YouTuber gave this to me. It's a great beater knife, though. I mean, it is what it is. All right, now I want to show you real quick the difference in quality. I'm going to bring in, it's not a Spyderco, it's Kershaw Leek. The reason I'm bringing this in is because it's a stainless steel body, just like the Spyderco, or excuse me, the Bird. Same difference, Spyderco. If you take the Kershaw Leek, which is made in the United States, you lay it down next to the Bird, the Spyderco Bird Metal-Arc, you'd have to be blind not to see the huge differences in quality. Absolutely, you'd have to be blind. Just looks-wise, you can see there's a huge difference. But when you feel it, when you feel the stainless steel on the Kershaw, everything is buffed and polished, and just all the harsh edges are taken off. In this thing here, not so much. You see these three holes here? You almost feel like you could cut your finger rubbing across it. The same thing with the edges. They've not been polished. Even up here, it's rough. It's actually almost sharp. And just the finish on the stainless steel, it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. This knife feels cheap. And it actually feels unfinished. And I'm not sure that it would have taken a whole lot more to actually make this a decent knife. But I mean, you feel up here, it's horrible. Whereas the Kershaw that was made in the United States, it's just smooth. It's really well done. It really is. The blade is beautiful. It's just a beautiful, beautiful knife. Okay, so you're saying, well, yeah, but the Kershaw costs more. The Kershaw does cost more than the Bird. Okay, but I want you to think about this for a second. This I'm going to put the Kershaw over here for a second. This Bird, I got a really good deal on it, truthfully. By the way, had I known it was made in China, I would not have done that. I thought I was buying a Spyderco. I'm learning. This is a whole new learning experience for me. This knife is, I believe, retails for right around $35 to $40. So does this. Okay, this cost me $35. This Delica 4. This Delica 4, compared to this Bird Metal-Arc, Spyderco Bird Metal-Arc, the quality differences are astronomical. I mean, seriously, the quality of this knife made in Seki City, Japan, is far above this knife. Now, okay, Johnny Act 7078 was trying to say that they could not compete or could not effectively make a decent knife like the Tenacious in the United States and keep it cost effective. And I think he said the Tenacious sells for around $35. Is the Tenacious that much better than the Delica? Okay. Is it better than the Manix 2? Okay. This Manix 2, brand new, cost me $75. Now, I've never had my hands on a Tenacious, but do you think that it would equal the Manix 2? I don't know. I mean, maybe it would. But I guarantee you that if you set the Tenacious next to the Manix 2, it would scream horribly like this does. I mean, seriously. So, if the Tenacious was made in the United States, what would it cost? Would it cost $40, $50? How much more money would it cost? I maintain that it would not cost all that much more than what it's selling for now, truthfully. If you can buy a Delica 4 for $35, and you can buy a Manix 2 for $75, the Tenacious has got to fall in between there somewhere. Now remember, the Delica 4 made in Japan, the Manix 2 made in the United States. So let's just say, let's pretend this was the Tenacious. So it would fall somewhere in the middle of there price-wise. Are you telling me that people wouldn't buy a Tenacious if it was $40 or $45 or $50? I think people will buy quality every single time. I really do think that. People will buy quality every single time. This Kershaw retails for right about what the suggested retail is for this. I'm going to tell you right now, I will take the Kershaw every single time over this piece of junk. Absolutely. Because this is junk. Crapola. I got duped, to be honest with you, buying it. I would not have bought that knife had I known that it was made in China. But actually, I'm kind of glad I did, because it really does illustrate. It really does illustrate the quality differences. Now, will China's quality improve? Yeah, over time it will improve, but the prices will go up also. You know, so I say we support manufacturing in countries that don't imprison their people. I mean, it's all about what kind of world you want to live in. I mean, seriously, what kind of world do you want to live in? Do you want to support a country that doesn't allow its people to speak up? I mean, you think about it. Does Tiananmen Square ring a bell? Tanks rolling? I mean, you know, do you want to support a country that will harvest the organs from its prisoners, involuntarily harvest the organs? Do you want to support a country that does those things? Because when we purchase Chinese-made goods, that's exactly what we're doing. We're supporting a government, you know, and don't make this about the Chinese people, okay? Because I'm sure the Chinese people are decent people. They're people. They're human beings. Most human beings are decent people, you know, or they want to be. I mean, everybody's a victim of their circumstances. But the Chinese government, the way they treat their people, you know, and we are literally putting China into a position where they will be the overlords over this planet. And for all of you people from other countries outside the United States who bitch and moan about the imperialistic ways of the evil Uncle Sam, all I can tell you is you ain't seen nothing yet. If you think that Uncle Sam in the United States has played dirty ball over the last half century, wait till you see what happens when the Chinese are in charge. Because believe me, it ain't going to be pretty. And you're not going to be able to say what you want to say when they're in charge, because you will be put in prison. You know? And God forbid you're in prison and somebody with some means needs a kidney, or worse, needs a heart. And you just happen to be the shit out of luck guy with the right blood type. Anyway, listen, people. I just want everybody to think about it. You know, I know there are times when you've got to buy something Chinese, and I understand why companies do it. But I don't think companies give the American people enough credit. I really don't. Spyderco's making money selling this, made in the United States. Spyderco's making money selling this, made in Japan. Kershaw is making money selling this, made in the United States. Yeah, Spyderco's making a lot more money selling this. But I think eventually there'll be a backlash. Because if Spyderco goes too far in this direction with the Chinese-made stuff, I just won't buy Spyderco anymore. I mean, there are plenty of other knives. Case knives made in the United States. Kershaw makes a lot of knives in the United States. You just got to support the ones that are made in the United States. Anyway, I could go on and on and on and on about this, and I've almost done that for 15 minutes, so I'm going to let y'all go. But anyway, Johnny7078, cool dude, check him out, and try to buy in countries that are not utilizing slave labor. Anyway, everybody take care.